Part 43. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 421. In Shura's exclusive space. Everyone observed a few seconds of silence over the experience of the goblins. Yabai put down the tablet, looked at Butler Gujin, and asked curiously. You said before that you could more than double the income from exclusive space. How to do it? Yabai's current assets are astonishingly huge. In addition to the merits of the god of war in his hand. Mysterious mines, mushroom forests, ice fields. The specialties of these places can be sold for a lot of money in Wanwu Pavilion. However, Yabai had been busy breaking through the barrier, taking care of the sheepfold and gathering wool. My own home is a treasure trove of gold and silver, and I really can't find time to take care of it for a while. For Yabai, these things are all eaten in his stomach, and they belong to him sooner or later, so there is no need to rush. Xuemeng and the others are losing their wool a little bit, so they must gather it quickly. Faced with Yabai's question, Butler Gujin had already prepared a plan and confidently said. Boss, the first thing we have to do is to reduce production and reduce the scale of production. Oh! Hearing this, many people had surprised expressions on their faces. Werewolf Jack was even more confused and suspected that the other party had made a mistake. The purpose is obviously to make more money, so why reduce production? Dracula laughed out loud after hearing Gujin's words. Another idiot. After scolding, Dracula buried his head and continued to eat his duck neck. I don't know when there was an extra half bag of French fries on the table. Although they were cold, it didn't stop them from being destroyed together. Cain was thoughtful when he heard Dracula's words and quickly understood. Wait, Cain realized something else. Is this vampire traitor scolding me? Yabai seemed to be smiling but not smiling. He put his hands together and tapped the index finger of his right hand rhythmically on the back of his left hand. Go on. Master Fool, who was sitting on the pony, also looked at Gujin with interest. Shura's current expression is so familiar to her. It means that Gujin's suggestion just now has made Shura a little unhappy. Butler Gujin smelled something unusual in the air and said bravely. Things are rare and valuable, and making money does not mean that the more you mine, the more you earn. Now through the abyssal plane, the human race can achieve self-sufficiency with ores below S level. However, the only thing that can provide SS level and SSS level ores on a stable scale is the mysterious mine. As long as we reduce the production scale to 1/10, the price can increase more than 20 times. The further he went on, the softer Gujin's voice became, and finally he couldn't speak at all. Because, he saw that the boss's expression turned cold obviously. After swallowing and spitting, Gujin forced himself to ask. Boss, did I say something wrong? Yes, you are right. If you're just doing business, that's what you should do. But some things aren't business. If he really does what Gujin said, Yabai's income will indeed skyrocket. The problem is that without a large amount of cheap, high quality ore on the front line, life will not be so easy. Yabai sighed, looked at Gujin and asked. Did you do this kind of business when you were working at Wanwu Pavilion? No. Gujin shook his head and replied honestly. The boss of Wanwu Pavilion is not short of money. There are two bosses in Wanwu Pavilion. The big boss Xiaoao and the small boss Zhao Qian are both short of money. Thinking of this, Gujin asked curiously. Boss, aren't you short of money? Fart. I'm in need. Yabai was anxious. How could this guy have such poor understanding? What's this? Yabai took out half a copper coin, showed it to Gujin, and taught. 2 days ago I was wandering around in the exclusive space, and there were half a copper coin on the ground, so I picked them up. Remember, your boss, I am very short of money. Upon hearing this, Master Fool snorted coldly, stood up, and left. It's okay to eat melon and eat it on yourself. Yabai continued to teach Gujin. Gentlemen love fortune, in a proper way. The method you mentioned can indeed make money, but it will chill people's hearts. Yabai said seriously. In the end, the two parties to the transaction will only become farther and farther apart, and the relationship will only be about money. Yabai has always been very good at making money. Gujin was thoughtful. The boss's words seemed to make sense. Yabai did not continue nagging. It was normal for Gujin to be new to the country and not understand some things. After staying for a long time, you will naturally know what you can and cannot do. Yabai ordered. Put aside the things that will increase your profits first, and change your thinking. Think about how to expand production, produce ore more scientifically and efficiently, and provide productivity. If you need to add people, add people. If you need to add equipment, add equipment. The abyss has not been very level recently, and there is a huge gap in the ore, so this matter should be done at the forefront. Gujin nodded like a pound of garlic. Clear. According to Shura's practice, the more they produce, the lower the price of ore, and the less they may earn. But since the boss said so, he, as the butler, should just do it. In the past, when the Goblin family was at its peak in the Eternal Core City, Gujin was also a well-known heir to the Goblin family in the city. The world has changed, the Goblin family has been ruined, and Gujin has been with Zhao Qian for hundreds of years. He never gave up on reviving the Goblin family. The problem is that Gujin has never figured out one thing. How could the extremely wealthy Goblin family disappear? Zhao Qian knew the answer, but didn't tell him. Shura's words today made Gujin thoughtful. Putting the ancient gold aside, Yabai found the White Wolf King. Due to swallowing the sun before, the White Wolf King's appearance is now coated with a layer of golden glory, and he can break through to level 990 at any time. In the Eternal Tower, all existences above level 990 must enter the Eternal Temple. Don't worry, I, Shura, am also a bit thin-faced in the Eternal Temple. I have dealt with Vulcan, Shadow Brother, and Yabai. Before leaving, Yabai warned. Stay away from Poseidon, that old boy is full of bad intentions. The White Wolf King smiled bitterly and shook his head. Whether we can break through or not is another matter. The current wolf ancestor is too strong. Previously outside the town of Ruthless, the current wolf ancestor knocked Steppenwolf to death with a hammer from the air, leaving a deep psychological shadow on the White Wolf King. Yabai patted his chest and promised. Don't worry, I'll keep it with you. The White Wolf King was doubtful and said nothing more. The golden glow on his body spread, and he began to try to break through level 990. And the most important part of it, the recognition of the current wolf ancestor. Thinking of this, the White Wolf King felt extremely uneasy. In the wolf's den, Xuemeng was drinking wine. Xiaoao came over, took away 0.9% of his income, and threw endless karmic fire to him. What is this? Xuemeng opened his mouth, and a puff of black smoke came out. What a bad time. Ever since he met Shura, he seemed to have never done anything good. Just when Xuemeng was thinking this, the bloody sledgehammer he placed next to him suddenly flashed. Is there a werewolf tribe who wants to break through to level 990? A smile appeared on Xuemeng's face. This time finally turned and it was my turn to make money. Want level 990? Can. I drove this road, leaving the money to buy the road. Even if the King of Heaven comes today, he can't stop Xuemeng. He has collected the money. Xuemeng, who was full of confidence, casually pressed the sledgehammer. A white wolf phantom appeared in front of Xuemeng. Before Xuemeng could speak, on the other side of the white wolf's shadow, Xuemeng's familiar voice came. Hey, De Menzi, are you there? Can you hear me? I have a win-win deal. Shwemang? Why is Shura here? I'm not in the mood to talk today. Isn't Shwemang miserable enough today? You have been recognized by the wolf ancestor, and the door to the eternal temple is opened for you. Shwemang gritted his teeth and said, "Goodbye. Online games, only I can see hidden information." Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 422. In the exclusive space, the White Wolf King quickly gained the recognition of the wolf ancestor. As if disgusted, he was kicked into the eternal temple. A shadow of a golden arch slowly disappeared from Yebai's eyes. Looking at the door of the eternal temple, Yebai thought of something. Where are my fries? Dracula. I would like to ask, is it too late to plant potatoes now? Urgent, waiting online. In view of Dracula's performance on the 30th floor, Yebai said generously that the French fries would only count as a half-year award. Don't be afraid of lice bites if there are too many. In terms of debt, Dracula has settled down. Deduct as much as you want. Anyway, he never received a penny. After bidding farewell to the White Wolf King, Yebai had not calmed down to review his journey to the 30th floor when a new piece of news came. Shadow brother, Shura, is that you? Yebai raised his eyebrows. Shadow brother is online. Level 994, accompanied by the source of shadow, destined to become the god of shadow. Theft and shadow quasi-god. One of the strong men in the sheepfold, who is infinitely taller than Su Qingfeng. Yebai quickly replied. Here, how are you doing recently? I've been promoted to dozens of levels. How about you? Shadow brother. He has risen to a total of 4 levels since birth. He could not imagine the joy of leveling up dozens of levels. Through the teleportation with Shadow brother, Yebai gained a new understanding of the Eternal Temple. On weekdays, the Eternal Temple is closed to the outside world. If the gods inside want to go out, they must follow the eternal rules, otherwise, they will be regarded as defecting. If you leave the Eternal Temple for too long and are judged as a defector by the Eternal Tower, you will quickly degenerate and become corrupted and become the demon god of the abyss. People outside, who want to enter the Eternal Temple, must have high enough Eternal Tower authority and strength. Yebai was thoughtful and nodded slightly. He had just cleared the 30th floor, and his authority had been increased invisibly. At the same time, the White Wolf King went to the Eternal Temple through Yebai's exclusive world, leaving a passage for the two worlds. It is precisely because of this that Yebai can get in touch with his shadow brother. Yebai did not forget the business. Is it convenient now for the skills you promised to teach me before? Also, you may be asked to help me participate in a martial arts competition recently. The shadow brother will return soon. I'll send you the skill book right now. Let's compete. I'm not very good at fighting. The shadow source is in Yebai's hands. According to the previous agreement between the two, Yebai will return the shadow source to his shadow brother after he reaches level 900. In exchange, the shadow brother has to cooperate with Yebai on some things. Yebai is full of confidence. It doesn't matter, I have a sure way to win. Since Shura said so, shadow brother did not refuse. Soon, he gave the 3 skill books to his beloved in a way similar to blessing. Yebai thanked him without sincerity and couldn't wait to open 3 books. Elementary Shadow Food Production, Jianying Zaishi Film, Shadow Sleeping Pill. According to Shadow Brother's introduction, Shadow can eat the food produced through basic Shadow food production like normal food and enjoy the delicious food. But, can't digest it? Therefore, Jianying Zaishi tablet is needed to assist digestion. Otherwise, food will accumulate in the stomach and it will be easy to vomit. As for the last Shadow Sleeping Pill, as the name suggests, after taking it, Shadow can sleep like a normal person. What a good thing. Yebai once again expressed his gratitude to Shadow Brother, put away the 3 skill books and rushed to the wolf lair. In the wolf's den. Lan Lao was about to leave when he was stopped by Ye Bai. Lao Lan, I have something to do. Please help me. Ye Bai took out 3 skill books and explained their functions. Mr. Lan immediately understood. You want me to learn and then create skill books? Ye Bai nodded, yes. Among Lan Lao's talents, there is an effect of ambition to learn, which is unlocked at level 150 and can be used to create skill books. These 3 skills were created by Shadow Brother. Apart from Shadow Brother, only Lan Lao can create skill books with bugs. There are so many people in the shadow. If you want to supply food, Jianwuxiashi tablets, and Yingmian pills in large quantities, you will be exhausted by one person. This can only be done by making a batch of skill books first. But the Shadow Brother is in the Eternal Temple and cannot send too many skill books. After knowing the ins and outs, Lan Lao did not refuse and agreed to help Ye Bai make 3,000 skill books first. However, Mr. Lan also has his own conditions and reminded. Don't sell the manufactured food at ridiculous prices. I'll do the work, don't worry. Ye Bai called Ying Si over on the spot and assured Lan Lao that all the food in Ying Si would be sold at cost price. Lan Lao glanced at Ye Bai helplessly, shook his head, and left. Ying Si was a little curious. Just as Ye Bai and Ying Si were discussing the follow-up details. The wool comes from the sheep. Under the most ideal situation, it can support the shadow overhead of non-Xeon era. Can. Of course, this deal itself is one that is willing to fight and one that is willing to suffer. Permanent buff leader of the vampires, the Eternal Tower human race will automatically gain the friendship of the vampire NPCs. Want to binge eat? The money earned from most of the shadows was spent on them. The most important thing is that this is a long-term deal. If there are more, let them spend money to buy them. There is a bright moon in the heart, in the Eternal Tower. When humans are bathing in sunlight, the damage caused is add 50% and the damage received is minus 20%. When bathing in the moonlight, the treatment/shield received is add 20% and the damage received is minus 50%. He suddenly discovered that the financial crisis that had plagued Shadow for decades was about to be resolved. Take your money and buy it. Eating 3 meals a day is already very humane for Shadow. Look at what you said, a manly man, and you will do what you say. Permanent buff dances with wolves. The Eternal Tower human race will automatically gain the friendship of the werewolf NPC. There is wool, 4th master is really plucking it. In the past, the dilemma of shadows was, there were more and more shadows, the expenses were getting bigger and bigger, but the income did not increase significantly. Jianying's digestion tablets will give you 3 free tablets per movie per day. After some operations by Shura. Permanent buff elf close friend, the Eternal Tower human race will automatically gain the friendship of the elf NPC. Yingxi made some rough calculations. Once the food production line is set up and extended to the whole film, player Shura SSSSS clears the 30th floor and is rewarded with the human buff Bright Moon in Heart for all Eternal Towers. By then, it is a sure thing that Jianying Zaishi tablets will be out of stock. Ye Bai took a look outside and made sure that Mr. Lan had gone far away. He pulled Yingxi to the corner and whispered. Most of the people in the shadows haven't eaten in decades. There are only 3 million God of War merits on the account, and he may go bankrupt at any time. Shadow's current operations are entirely debt-based operations. If the price is increased by 10%, the profit will be very considerable. Waiting for shadow food vendors, it's easy to indulge in revenge eating. 4th Master, are you really selling at cost price? An unremarkable reward announcement spread throughout the Eternal Tower. Ying Si took a breath, he still underestimated the 4th Master. For this sentence, Ying Si had a new understanding. Although these foods are cheap, they can't stand up to the large portions. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 423. 4 permanent buff rewards, which looks pretty good. The werewolves, vampires, elves, the friendship between the 3 tribes. This value is difficult to estimate. For Yebai, these 3 buffs were just like none. Most of the people he usually interacts with will not be affected by such low-level rules. But for ordinary players, these 3 buffs are still very valuable. Take the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th floors that Yebai once entered. Vampires and werewolves will often appear in mines after reset. Sometimes they attack players, sometimes they give wrong instructions, and they even act as boss themselves. With this buff, human players can turn hostility into friendship and enemies into friends. At lower levels, these 3 buffs play a great role. However, these 3 tribes are also called the lower 3 tribes, and their own strength is not strong. The truly top experts among these 3 tribes have all kinds of problems. Just look at Cain and Dracula in Yebai's exclusive space. Putting the reward buff aside, Yebai knew that his personal reward would have to wait a while. The card bug is like this. Third brother has worked very hard to come up with the 5 scorecard today. Yebai would be satisfied if he could get his personal reward before heading to the 9th abyss. Yebai and Ying Si were talking about something, and Xuemeng came over reluctantly. Xuemeng opened his mouth, and a puff of black smoke came out. What a loud tone! The strange old man asked me to tell you, don't climb the tower today or tomorrow. Listening to what Xuemeng said, Yebai nodded slightly to show that he understood. There is a price to pay for bugs. So far, all of Yebai's actions have been within control. Xiaoao only told Yebai once about clearing the 5s level. It takes at least 10 days for Yebai to pass level 5s each time. As for other things, Xiaoao didn't say anything. If you don't say anything, it's okay. Just when Xuemeng came over, Yebai asked Ying Si to implement the Shadow Food Factory, and drove Xuemeng back to his office like a sheep. Explain it well. Yebai drew out the Heavenly King's sword, slapped it on the table, and said viciously. Explain. Xuemeng was dumbfounded. What did Shura ask him to say? Yebai took a sip of tea and said slowly. You have at least 3 things to say. Xuemeng thought for a while and said. I do want the Heavenly King's sword. Everyone knows this. Yebai frowned, that's not the case. Xuemeng added. It would have been better if Heavenly King's sword had followed me earlier. That's not the case either. Yebai frowned, why is this guy so ignorant? Xuemeng spread his hands. I really didn't hide it from you about the wolf ancestor, and you didn't even ask me. I said Heavenly King's sword, Heavenly King's sword. Yebai pointed to the Heavenly King's sword and asked. Didn't you tell me before that this sword belongs to your father? Xuemeng nodded. Yes. Yebai said angrily. Then what did the wasteland elf say? This sword belongs to the strongest Wuhan. Xuemeng said confidently. Then Wuhan is also my father. Yebai. This time, it was Yebai's turn to be speechless. There is nothing wrong with what Xuemeng said. Yebai subconsciously ignored that Meng Meng, Xueju, and Wuhan were all Xuemeng's fathers. The previous owners of the Heavenly King's sword all had a father-son relationship with Xuemeng. Coupled with Xuemeng's potential as a filial son, Yebai felt that he was in danger. Wait a minute, this matter is a bit messy, let's sort it out. Yebai recalled Master Ju's original words in the Eternal Forest. This Heavenly King's sword originally belonged to a heaven-reaching war god. After his death in battle, he stayed in the Eternal Forest and never woke up. He also woke up that day. This sentence is not a lie. Xueju, the first master of the Heavenly King's sword, was indeed the god of war, and died in the battle of the Supreme Abyss. Yebai continued to recall. Wuhan, he just grabbed the nearest sword. Xuemeng's eyes were wide open, full of confusion. Uncle Ju didn't lie to you. My second father did take the sword closest to him. Xuemeng spread his hands and said helplessly. The Heavenly King sword is one of the most powerful pieces of equipment in the Eternal Forest. It must be the closest to my second father. His. Yabai realized something. In terms of details, Master Ju didn't tell a single lie, but he successfully misled himself. The Heavenly King sword really followed Wuhan and left the Eternal Forest. That's not right either. Yabai immediately asked. Since Heavenly King sword followed your second father, why did he return to the Eternal Forest? Faced with this question, Xuemeng became unusually silent. Although he usually seems to be lively, he doesn't care if he suffers a little loss when getting along with Yabai. But Xuemeng is not stupid, he can even be said to be very smart. There is no fool who can survive the battlefield of the abyss. Xuemeng can probably guess why Yingju deceived Shura. The Heavenly King sword has returned to the Eternal Forest. Xuemeng groaned. You'd better ask my second father face to face. It's better to let him speak for himself. Okay. Yabai did not continue to dwell on this matter. Yabai frowned. By the way, unlike other tribes, the Desolate tribe has existed at level 1000 in its history. Xuemeng introduced. Devil, Angel, Desert. Shortage. Xuemeng, I heard that you got rich. There is nothing more to talk about on this topic. Yabai decided to talk about something happy. I heard a statement today about the lower three tribes. My father and others have speculated that Huangzu may still be alive. According to the legend spread about the Eternal Tower, the Eternal Nine clan created the Eternal Tower. As for what the situation is now, it is unknown. Happiness, disappeared. There is actually a level 1000 existence in the Desolate clan? Xuemeng's face sank. According to Xuemeng, the strongest members of the Demon and Angel tribes all stop at level 999. This is not something to be trifled with, Yabai needs to remember it. Wuhan paid a heavy price in the decisive battle with the most powerful demon. Xuemeng didn't know how to describe it for a while. His. Listening to Xuemeng's introduction, Yabai nodded slightly. Xuemeng thought of something and quickly reminded. I know the middle three tribes. Based on the rules of the Eternal Tower, more of these three races will appear between the 30th and 60th floors. Yabai changed the topic to a lighter topic. Yes, the Desolate clan, the existence of this clan is very weird. Even if Xuemeng didn't say anything, Yabai could probably guess it. Xuemeng said in a deep voice. Among them, the Vampire tribe, the Elf tribe, and the Werewolf tribe are also called the lower three tribes because they are the weakest. How about we continue talking about my second father's injury? And Huangzu has truly reached level 1000. You will know when you meet the Desolate clan. What are the middle three tribes and the upper three tribes? Mostly it was related to that battle that year. He changed the topic again and asked tentatively. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 424. It belongs to be full of filial piety. It could be seen that Xuemeng was really scared. Yabai did not continue the conversation. Lan Lao had mentioned the traceless injury very vaguely before. However, Lan Lao hopes that Yabai will do what he can within his ability. Do not force. After all, the level involved was too high, and Lan Lao was not sure. In fact, you will know if you think about it. Nightmare and Wuhan all had a decisive battle with the most powerful demon, leaving a lot of hidden dangers. But Xiaoao didn't. Xiaoao, the strongest person who lives on the 99th floor, has always been at the peak of his strength. If even Xiaoao can't help Wuhan and Mensi solve hidden dangers, expecting a level 300 plus strongest seed is a bit fanciful. If nothing else, Ye Bai knew one thing very well. The three strongest men of the human race actually have a very good relationship with each other due to their inheritance. Nightmare and Wilhen are a family, and they share an adopted son, so let's not mention it. Ye Bai is currently unclear about the relationship between Xiaoao and Menma. But Ye Bai knew that Xiaoao respected Wilhen very much. The human race on the 10th floor was asked by Wilhen to take care of Xiaoao. Xiaoao went to take care of it. If Xiaoao could help solve the problem, he would have taken action long ago. Let's put the Wilhen matter aside for now. The most important things for Ye Bai right now are two things. The duel between Shadow and Nightmare. Journey to the Ninth Abyss. The former is related to the distribution rights of Xuemeng's wool, and the latter is related to whether Ye Bai can come back alive. Ye Bai didn't have to take custody of Xuemeng, but he had no intention of taking it. But not a single strand of wool is missing. War soldier, war general, war king, war god, all-powerful war god. Ye Bai must win these 5 levels of battles as much as possible. War soldier, war general, war king, these 3 levels have Ye Bai personally fighting, so don't worry. The advantage is mine. As for the battle with the god of war, Ye Bai also had a clear idea and was guaranteed to win. The only thing you need to worry about is the battle at the god of war level. Ye Bai waved. Big Menzi, there is a profitable business. Not interested in. Xuemeng snorted coldly, listlessly. Make money. Earn a lot of money. 90% goes to the eldest father, 9% goes to the second father, and 0.9% goes to the third generation of the strongest Xiaoao. Just keep 0.1% for yourself and get 1 yuan after earning 1000 yuan. Useless. Xuemeng is not interested in making money. The benefit of being able to actually put it in your pocket. Ye Bai said seriously. Maybe it can help you break through to the heavenly god of war. Xuemeng's eyes lit up. Really? Xuemeng himself had no idea how to break through to the heavenly god of war. Ye Bai raised his hand and looked at Xuemeng seriously. Just wait a moment. Sage mode is starting. Ye Bai washed his eyes before and obtained the sage mode twice. Used it once before and have one left. Ye Bai used it to help Xuemeng see how he could break through to the heavenly god of war. One of the necessary conditions for Xuemeng to become the god of war, to become the #1 swordsman in this world. The trial version of Sage Mode ends here. To read more useful information, click here to view the Third Awakening. Looking at the prompts given by the Eye of Insight, Ye Bai fell into silence. After a while, he patted Xuemeng on the shoulder. Otherwise, we'd better stop thinking about breaking through. There's nothing wrong with level 989. Su Qingfeng didn't even have 989, so he was still living well? Xuemeng? What do you mean by comparing me to Lao Su? Swearing, right? I just checked the qualifications for you. Personally, I don't think you have much hope. Ye Bai said it very tactfully. The best swordsman in this world? What is the nickname of Lan Bangxian? The second sword in the world. Even if Madman Huo shouted this in front of Lan Bangxian would not feel humiliated. The human race and the demon race are recognized as the #1 swordsman in this world, Wilhen. Xuemeng's talent in swordsmanship is indeed very strong. There is even no clear conclusion as to who is stronger between him and Lan Bangxian. Some people support Lan banishing the immortal, while others think it is Xuemeng. These are meaningless in front of Wilhen. According to this condition, Xuemeng has no hope of breaking through to the heavenly god of war in this life. Condition. Xuemeng was really interested this time. Don't worry about whether there is hope or not, tell me first. With that said, Xuemeng opened his storage space. Fang Tian held the painted halberd and the bloody sledgehammer in his hands. Xuemeng pointed at other things and said, "Take whatever you like." Xuemeng is very generous. Ye Bai glanced at it and saw that there was nothing valuable inside. Taken together they are not worth one god of war meritorious service. Apparently, due to some ulterior reasons, Xuemeng was destitute. Ye Bai said magnanimously. I'm sorry, I'm not that kind of person. Xuemeng looked at Ye Bai suspiciously. I suspect you are not human at all. Ye Bai suggested. I'll take this condition and exchange a list with you. Isn't it fair? In the exchange of information, both parties do not suffer. Xuemeng got his promotion conditions. Ye Bai got the list of the Nightmare Legion's god of war. Everyone is happy. A world where only the Nightmare Legion was injured appears. Xuemeng agreed without hesitation. Good. Xuemeng never showed mercy when it came to cheating on his father. According to the process you have finalized, there will be a total of 5 gods of war in the Nightmare Legion. There are 2 lists that I can confirm now. I will tell you the remaining 3 when I get them. How about it? Make a deal. Ye Bai is not a stingy person, and the 2 parties reached a deal readily. Xuemeng reported his name. Su Qingfeng, Xuemeng. Ye Bai. You fight for the Nightmare Legion, I understand this. Ye Bai nodded slightly, and Xuemeng took action, winning for sure. When the time comes, just send an inferior horse to hold Xuemeng down. The God of War level involves 20% of the wool division, and the outcome of a competition is related to 4%. Not a small amount. Ye Bai asked curiously. Why does Su Qingfeng also go to war? Logically speaking, this 9th level god of war, the weakest, should not be considered by the Nightmare Legion. Oh, this. Xuemeng took out his ears and said nonchalantly. They said it would be too embarrassing if Shadow couldn't even defeat Su Qingfeng. Hiss. It's not very harmful, but it's extremely insulting. Ye Bai understood. Let Su Qingfeng play, and if Shadow wins, there will be nothing to be proud of. Who among the 9th level god of war has not defeated Su Qingfeng? If Su Qingfeng succeeds in counterattack, the Nightmare Legion will make a lot of money. If that is the case, Shadow's top war god couldn't even defeat Su Qingfeng. This news would instantly spread to the strong men of the human race and the demon race. And the Shadow will become a new laughing stock. Ye Bai was indignant. Damn it, you are going too far to treat Lao Su like this. The other 3, Xuemeng will tell Ye Bai before the competition begins. Ye Bai sighed and told Xuemeng the cruel reality. You want to break through to level 990 and become the number 1 swordsman in this world. It was different from what Ye Bai expected. After hearing the news, Xuemeng was not only not depressed, but actually a little surprised. Does that mean? Xuemeng's face was filled with excitement and his voice was slightly excited. As long as my second father goes to the upper world, I can break through. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 425. As long as my second father goes to the upper world, I can break through. Xuemeng's words made Ye Bai not even know how to complain. Can you stop being so filial? Ye Bai warned himself again and again in his heart. Xuemeng's wool can be harvested, but the custody rights must not be taken away. This child has been filial since he was a child. Ye Bai was about to step away, review the harvest of the 30th level, and summarize it. Before leaving, Ye Bai asked. By the way, why did you hit Steppenwolf to death with a hammer before? Steppenwolf? Oh, he's a traitor with blood on his hands. Xuemeng said casually. The wolf ancestors of all generations have hunted down Steppenwolf. When I took over as wolf ancestor, I also swore an oath under my real name that I would not stop fighting until I met Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf must be one of the masterminds behind the tragedy that the White Wolf King experienced. Listen to Xuemeng's introduction. The Steppenwolf and the Wasteland Elves conspired to betray their own race. Steppenwolf betrayed the werewolf tribe and slaughtered all the strong men of the werewolf tribe, thereby rising to level 994. The Wasteland Elf Envoy took away the elf clan's most precious treasure, the Heart of Life. The Wasteland Elf Envoy and Steppenwolf disappeared at the same time, and when they appeared again, they were already on the 30th floor of the Eternal Tower. Yabai muttered. No wonder the permanent buff in the reward includes the favorability of the elves. On the 30th floor, Yabai only dealt with the Wasteland Elf Envoy and captured him. If she was a traitor, that would make sense. Etc. Yabai suddenly realized an important detail. You just said that the Heart of Life is in the hands of the Wasteland Elf. Yes. Shuemen nodded, a little confused. So what? You didn't capture her, damn it, you captured the Wasteland Elf alive. Seeing Yabai's expression, Shuemen knew that he had guessed correctly. There is no need for Shuemen to remind you how precious the Heart of Life is. Yabai went straight back to his own exclusive space to settle the score with Master Fool. In an exclusive space. Looking at the menacing Shura, Master Fool remained calm and composed. She knew this moment would come when she accepted the Wasteland Elf Envoy. When Shura shepherds sheep, it's not that he doesn't gather them because the time has not yet come. Master Fool asked calmly. Are you here to get the Heart of Life? Yabai nodded without any secret. Both parties are familiar with each other, so there is no need to be polite and greetings. Speak more straightforwardly and the communication efficiency will be higher. Master Fool glanced at the maid behind him and ordered. Take it out. The Wasteland Elf struggled a little, but he hesitated to speak, and wanted to make a final resistance. She would rather destroy the Heart of Life or give it to her master than give it to Shura in vain. After this hesitation, the scene immediately came to a standstill. Master Fool snorted coldly. I don't know what is good or bad. The Fool Master turned his wrist slightly. A terrifying pressure came, and with a bang, the Wasteland Elf knelt down on one knee on the spot. Beads of sweat as big as soybeans fell from her forehead, and her face was extremely pale. In front of this powerful demon clan, the level 989 Wasteland Elf had no power to resist, as weak as Su Qingfeng. I won't say it a second time. Master Fool didn't look at the Wasteland Elf Envoy and walked forward. Dracula moved the little Mazza and helped clean up the dust thoughtfully. Master Fool sat down casually. If you fall into my hands, the worst you can do is die. Master Fool pointed at Shura. If you fall into the hands of this guy, I guarantee that your life will be worse than death. Yabai was angry. Who could he look down upon? Am I, Shura, as unbearable as you say? Dracula and Cain, who were eating melon on the side, silently gave the Fool Master a thumbs up. The pale-faced Wasteland Elf bit his lip, stretched his right hand towards his heart, and grasped it suddenly. Soon, a pink heart appeared in front of everyone. Is this the Heart of Life? Yabai did not step forward to pick it up, but looked at it repeatedly. An item of this grade is more than enough for the second awakening of the Eye of Insight. Heart of Life, a sacred object of the elves, SSS level. Werewolves below level 998 can be upgraded by one level after taking it. Can revive the dying tree of life. It has a strong life recovery effect and can be used for making equipment, heart transplantation. Don't remind me, I've already tasted enough. Yabai had a general understanding of the role of the Heart of Life. It is no exaggeration to say that the Heart of Life is the most valuable harvest of Yabai's trip. It has an advanced effect on werewolves, can revive the Tree of Life, and can also provide super life recovery. Withdrawing his gaze, Yabai looked at Master Fool and waited for the next words. Declaration in advance. Master Fool pointed at the Heart of Life with a hint of disdain in his tone. I have no interest in keeping this thing privately. Even if I want to take it, I will take something more valuable, such as that money tree. Yabai nodded, he believed this. It's just that, the Fool Master is too rich. From Yebai's perspective, if the Heart of Life is placed in the pavilion of all things, it can easily be sold for a high price of hundreds of thousands of God of War merits. As if he knew what Yebai was thinking, Gu Jin whispered from the side. This thing is valued at Wanwu Pavilion, with 360,000 war god merits. The previous wolf ancestor once offered a reward for this object with all his wealth. Gu Jin has worked at Wanwuj for more than 30 years and has won the Employee of the Year award more than 30 times. His valuation was very accurate. The Fool Master continued. Since she is your prisoner, according to the rules, the Heart of Life is also your trophy. I originally planned to use it to build SSS level equipment for you. If you want it, then take it. This time, it was Yebai's turn to be confused. So straightforward? Is it a scam? But let me remind you. The corner of Master Fool's mouth curled up into a sneer. If you use Heart of Life as the core, your SSS level armor will have super life attributes and recovery capabilities. If you take away the Heart of Life, the cost of core materials will be more than 360,000 God of War meritorious deeds. Hiss. This time, not only Yebai, but also Dracula took a breath of cold air. Dracula never expected. The idiot master managed to control the demon lord so well. It was Yebai's turn to be in trouble. Taking away the Heart of Life and using it elsewhere, it would be difficult for Yebai to obtain the benefits of 360,000 God of War meritorious deeds. At the same time, Yebai still needs to spend a lot of money to purchase new core materials. Leaving the Heart of Life behind and using it as the core component of the armor sounds very good. Yebai looked at Gu Jin and asked. How many items of this level like the Heart of Life are there in the Pavilion of All Things? Gu Jin immediately replied. There are 6 items of the same grade in the inventory of the Pavilion of All Things. There must be at least 3 items higher than this level. There are also 2 life-related material clues. If you need a list, I can write it on the spot. Yebai nodded, indicating that he understood. In this case, Yebai made a decision. Bring it here. The Heart of Life flew from Master Fool's palm into Yebai's hand. Oh! Master Fool was slightly surprised. This result was beyond her expectation. She couldn't figure it out. Shura would rather spend more money to buy core materials than use the ready-made Heart of Life. Is this still the Shura she knows? Master Fool asked. Why did you choose this? After accepting the Heart of Life, Yebai focused all his attention on the Heart of Life, waved his hand and said perfunctorily. Such a simple question, you can go and do it yourself. The Fool Master looked to Dracula for an answer. If we say that Master Fool is proficient in the character of Shura. So, Dracula, who followed Shura for a period of time, almost became a roundworm in Shura's belly. Dracula always had a good attitude when faced with a big shot who could kill him at any time. He bowed, elegantly and calmly, and spoke calmly. My master has always been very willing to spend money to save his life. Even if it's his own money. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 426. For Yebai, no matter how much money he spends, he can save his life. Why is Yebai so obsessed with making money? Because when I first came into contact with the Eternal Tower, the secret realm of trading, and the Pavilion of All Things. In his short career as the strongest seed, Yebai summed up a simple, boring, but very practical truth. Krypton gold can really make you stronger. In fact, the top leaders of the human race have been silently paying attention to the most powerful seed Shura. Not many people know Shura's true identity. However, many of Shura's words and deeds were recorded to analyze Shura's character. These files are extremely sealed, and those who participate in the analysis will voluntarily accept the memory seal after the analysis is completed. Only when Shura officially becomes the most powerful day will these dusty memories be unlocked. When it comes to protecting the most powerful seeds, one cannot be too cautious. Humans have always done this. The leader of the observation and analysis team is none other than Lan Tiankai. At a very high-level meeting, Lan Tiankai pointed out. According to their analysis, Shura's obsession with making money is mainly due to the lack of security. In Shura's short 30-day career as the most powerful seed, there are 3 key time points that have greatly changed Shura. The first transition point is the battle between the human race and the abyss, and Shura is responsible for guarding the eternal forest. In this battle, Shura armed himself to the teeth, tried his best to save his life, and went to the extreme. It was also from this battle that Shura determined the route of becoming stronger with upgrades as the main focus and Krypton Gold as the supplement. The second node is when Shura participates in the SSS level mission to rescue Lan Lao, and enters the Suture Abyss under the protection of Shadow 10. Since Yingju was not around, the mission was extremely dangerous and irritating to Shura. The specific manifestations are, making more money and harvesting more wool. During this period, Shura's main purpose of making money was to save his life. The third transformation point is when Yingju opens the abyss of power and no longer protects Shura personally. From that day on, Shura had one more goal, to become stronger, faster. Lan Lao carefully analyzed Shura's efficiency and choices in breaking through the levels. Before Yingju leaves, Shura will go to the wolf lair to hang out and relax after completing the level. After Yingju left, Shura spends more time on completing levels, exclusive spaces, researching skills, and integrating his own resources. He is following his own pace and getting stronger as fast as possible. Not only that, Shura took the initiative to take over the Shadow, and was also very interested in improving the strength of the Shadow, and took the initiative to propose a contest between the Shadow and the Nightmare Legion. In particular, Shura's integration of Shadow's top combat power exceeded many people's expectations. When Yingju first left, the King of Heaven even suggested activating an emergency plan to prevent the top 3 Shadows from going berserk and to minimize the impact of Yingju's departure on the human race. You know, the top 3 Shadow players not only hold important positions, but are also powerful. Except for the strongest and Yingju, few people can suppress them. At that time, Lan Lao fought against all opinions and fought for Shura for 3 days. If within 3 days, Shura cannot deal with the top 3 Shadows, the human race needs other preventive measures. As a result, Shura not only easily defeated the top 3 Shadows, but even vaguely became the new king of the Shadows. Now, the 4th master in the Shadow can already command and forbid. The top 3 Shadows all expressed their surrender in their own way. Regarding this, Mr. Lan could only sigh. No matter how much we overestimate the strongest seeds, we will be surprised to find that we still underestimate them. All in all, as the most powerful seed, Shura almost gave a perfect answer. In addition to liking Xuemengyang very much, Xuemeng participated in the entire meeting to analyze Shura's character, and even prepared a small notebook to take notes. The professional terms in Lan Lao's mouth made Xuemeng drowsy and yawning continuously. After the whole meeting, Xuemeng understood one sentence. Shura will find ways to defraud his own money. Grass. This will be in vain. In a dedicated space. Of course Ye Bai didn't know these things. Even if he knew, he probably wouldn't care. Just a few days ago, Mr. Lan informed Ye Bai that a research fund would be transferred to Ye Bai's account as a reward for participating in the research project. It's pie in the sky, don't give it up. Ye Bai's focus now is on the heart of life. This thing is a sacred object of the elves, but it has a miraculous effect on the werewolves. It can upgrade werewolves below level 998 by 1 level. The first thing Ye Bai thought of was Xuemeng. Who knew that Xuemeng had no interest in the heart of life at all? "You're going to turn into a werewolf with this thing," Xuemeng said righteously. "My father wanted me to be a good person, not a werewolf." "Right." Ye Bai nodded slowly, understanding Xuemeng's choice. Xuemeng is currently stuck at level 989. As long as he is patient, he will be able to advance sooner or later. It's still a long time anyway. Moreover, Xuemeng has a high degree of recognition of the human race identity. In order to upgrade, give up your citizenship. Xuemeng couldn't do this kind of thing. Since Xuemeng didn't want it, Ye Bai continued to study the heart of life. The greatest use of this thing is to cooperate with the tree of life, and the second is to allow top werewolves to advance. Ye Bai had no intention of using the heart of life as the main material to forge his own SSS level armor. According to Gujin, there are many things in the pavilion of all things, even better than the heart of life. In this case, why doesn't Ye Bai buy a better one? For Ye Bai, if there is something better to save his life, he must arrange it. How should I use this thing? Ye Bai thought about it carefully. The heart of life can be carried by special beings, which will have magical effects. Looking at the prompts given by the Eye of Insight, Ye Bai raised his eyebrows and immediately looked for the target in the exclusive space. Under Ye Bai's glance, different prompts appeared above everyone's head. When carried by the Wasteland Elf, the Moon Arrow can be upgraded to SSS level. Dracula carries it and gains immortality. Cain carries it and obtains the Forbidden Vampire secret method. Even if you just carry the Heart of Life, it can bring about a huge increase in combat power. Unfortunately, this carrying improvement is only effective for werewolves, vampires, and elves. If Ye Bai could carry it himself, he wouldn't have to find anyone else. Just when Ye Bai was hesitating who to lend it to, a handsome boy pushing a stone happened to pass by. A prompt popped up above Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone carries, can produce 600 ml of the source of life every day. Is there such a good thing? Ye Bai made a decision immediately. The heart of life is temporarily in the custody of Rolling Stone. Where is this Rolling Stone? This is the source of walking wealth. Let me help hold this heart and produce the source of life. Rolling Stone didn't think much and agreed to Shura's proposal. The Rolling Stones themselves were embarrassed to have lived in each other's exclusive space for several days. If there is anything he can do to help, he will naturally be happy to do so. Stone has no heart. Ye Bai gave Rolling Stone a heart. The heart of life was beating in Rolling Stone's chest. He frowned and asked in confusion. It feels so hot. How does the source of life arise? Ye Bai looked at the sweat on Rolling Stone's forehead and fell into deep thought. Is the source of life with added salt still the source of life? Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 427. After carrying the source of life, Rolling Stone kept sweating. Soon, 600 ml of sweat was collected, and the temperature of the Rolling Stone dropped. Looking at the slightly salty bottle of life source in front of me, an idea flashed in Ye Bai's mind. He decided to name this source of life Physiological Saline. Take it to Wanwu Pavilion and sell it at a suitable price. This stuff is sweet but a little smelly, and Ye Bai himself doesn't know how to use it. Although the effect is good, don't be greedy. Thinking of this, Ye Bai began to calculate the harvest of the 30th level. In terms of materials, Ye Bai gained a total of Sunbow and Moon Arrow, SS level equipment. Master Fool promised to help Ye Bai upgrade to SSS level. The heart of life is a worthless little thing, and it only has hundreds of thousands of God of War merits, so let's not mention it. Steppenwolf Pie, a level 994 werewolf expert, was smashed into a meat pie by Xuemeng with a hammer. He was covered in treasures. Ye Bai hadn't figured out how to use it yet. Wasteland Elf Envoy, Captive, level 989, poor guy, with little to gain. Although the Wasteland Elf is nominally the mate of the Fool Master. However, both sides knew very well that if Yabai needed the Wasteland Elves to fight, the other party had no right to say no. That's pretty much it. Yabai counted on his fingers, and there was a personal reward for passing level 5s. I guess this will have to wait until tomorrow. Yabai opened the attribute panel smoothly. In the battle on the 30th floor, he still gained a lot of experience points. Eternal ID, Shura. Talent, Eye of Insight, SSS level. Level, 369. Occupation, Wrath Title Mage, Thunder, Fire, Shadow, SSS level. Second profession, Shura Great Mage, Windwood Water, SSS level. Title, Fire Thief. HP, 16,813,800/16,813,800. MP, 38,387,900/38,387,900. Strength, 136,461, add 163,916. Intelligence, 236,845, add 426,852. Spirits, 226,863, add 356,468. Agility, 100,616, add 121,664. Constitution, 135,468, add 164,568. Luck, 17. Equipment, Force of Nature, SSS level, etc. Skills, Stealing Fire, Creation of All Things, etc. Status, There is a bright moon in my heart, etc. As Yabai's level increased, the attributes attached to the power of nature also improved a lot. Even if you don't take into account the additional attributes, Yabai's basic attributes now all exceed the 100,000 mark. He is only at level 369 now, and is still nearly 2/3 of the way to level 1000. There is a lot of room for improvement in strength. Moreover, the further you get to the later stage, the higher the attribute data will be improved. Previously in the Wolf Lair, the endless karmic fire on Yabai's body was taken out by Xiaoao. After all his efforts, Yabai endured the endless karma fire for 2 days and gained a maximum blood volume of 1 million, as well as 15% immunity to fire damage. By the way, the endless karma fire is gone, let's ask the old monk to borrow another one. Thinking of this, Yabai immediately returned to the wolf lair. In the wolf's den, Xuemeng just breathed a sigh of relief when Shuro left and returned. Come on, come out with me. Yabai pulled Xuemeng and went to find the old monk without saying a word. In a remote and shabby corner of the Eternal Core City, Yabai found his former monk. Amitabha. Arhat clasped his hands together and saluted Yabai and Xuemeng. Arhat looked at Xuemeng, slightly surprised. This donor has great wisdom. The people who appeared with Shuro were each more qualified than the last. Yabai did not show off and introduced. He is the son of the human king, the adopted son of Nightmare and Wuhan. No wonder. Arhat saluted Xuemeng again, his expression even more respectful. When the human king died, we chanted sutras in the temple for 30 years to comfort the heroic spirit. There was a hint of sadness on Xuemeng's eyebrows, which quickly disappeared. Thank you, master. A disdainful and foul-mouthed voice sounded. Reciting it day and night, can you curse the most powerful demon to death? Yabai turned around and saw that Huo Tianyi was here too. Previously, among the people waiting for Yabai's return, there was Huo Tianyi. When we went to the wolf den for dinner, this kid disappeared. Unexpectedly, he came here. Still familiar with bad breath. Everyone present was used to Huo Tianyi's temper. Arhat has a temper that can't be beat with 8 sticks, and it is even more impossible for him to quarrel with Huo Tianyi. After a brief exchange of greetings, Ye Bai told Arhat about the endless karma fire. Donor Shui has endured the fire of endless karma for 360 years. Logically speaking, there are only advantages and no disadvantages. Arhat looked at Shuemeng and suggested, "You can go see Venerable Wuhan, it can be faster." Shuemeng shook his head and refused. "My second father is quite busy recently, so I'd better not go looking for a cigarette." After solving Shuemeng's trouble, Luohan spoke again. "Why are you here, Xiu Donor?" "Borrow fire," Ye Bai said with a smile. "Isn't that right? The endless fire of karma is gone. Fire stealing success rate, 0.21%. Today, Ye Bai wants to steal fire from Arhat, and his success rate has increased by 0.06%. The most important thing is that due to the card bug, stealing fire is costless." Ye Bai asked tentatively. "Are you insulting me? Xiu Donor, how about listening to me preach a Buddhist scripture? At least 50,000. Huo Tianyi does not have this risk." Arhat nodded and asked sincerely. "You can borrow a fire. Copper." His ability to have a bad mouth is unparalleled in the world. "Why should I help you listen to the scriptures? Return. I'm afraid it won't be easy to repay." "Master, can you give me a price?" Arhat thought for a while and set out his own conditions. "At least, it doesn't cost gold coins." Arhat was easy to talk to. "Okay. De Menzi is a bit too kind." Ye Bai immediately refused and said sincerely, "If Ye Bai goes to study Buddhism, what if the third brother gets angry? Little King Huo is also a natural killer, even stronger. Make a fortune." Huo Tian stretched out his palm and spread his 5 fingers. "If he is kidnapped by Buddhism, he will suffer a huge loss. Can you change someone else? I'm really not interested in this thing." "Can." Ye Bai reluctantly said. "I'll pay 600. The third brother is a Taoist." Huo Tianyi snorted coldly. Even if Shura knelt down to beg him today, he would not listen to this. Old Huo Tianwang's hands were covered with countless blood. Last time, he gained 50,000 physical attributes in one breath, plus the 1 million life limit of the endless karma fire belt. This kind of person is inherently incompatible with Buddhism. Ye Bai, who has tasted the sweetness, will naturally not give up on this fat sheep. Ye Bai's eyes wandered between Huo Tianyi and Shuemeng, and finally gave up on Shuemeng and chose Huo Tianyi. Ye Bai was a little embarrassed. There is another reason why Ye Bai asked Arhat to borrow fire. Every time he successfully steals fire, he can get super high attributes. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 428. Huo Tianyi rolled his eyes. "I'm talking about the merits of the god of war. So there's nothing to talk about. It is impossible for Ye Bai to achieve 50,000 god of war meritorious deeds. Not to mention 50,000, even 500 is impossible." Ye Bai took out a small bottle. "Here is 100 ml of the source of life, do you want it?" "The source of life?" Shuemeng exclaimed. "Where did you get the source of life from? This thing is completely ineffective against Shuemeng and others at their level. But for the War King and below, those with old illnesses, the source of life is a rare treasure and its value is immeasurable." The source of life that Ye Bai had brought out before allowed many strong men of the year to rise again, and a god of war was even born among them. According to Ye Bai's previous deal with Shuemeng, it was 200,000 gold coins per drop. 100 ml, which is 2,000 drops. This small bottle is 400 god of war merits. The actual value is even higher. Huo Tianyi sneered disdainfully. Do you think I need treatment? For Huo Tianyi, healing items are the most useless things. If you can, chop me to death. There is 9 deaths without regrets, and you are tough when you speak. You really don't need to. Ye Bai nodded and asked. Your subordinates, colleagues, and disciples back then, are you sure they don't need them? 2,000 drops are enough for a dozen War King level warriors to recover from their injuries and regain their former glory. Not everyone has 9 deaths without regrets. After Huo Tianyi fell into a brief silence, he still chose to speak harshly. That's the old guy, what does it have to do with the young master? After saying that, Huo Tian stepped forward and snatched the source of life from Ye Bai's hand. He snorted coldly, turned around and walked into the lecture hall. I am in a good mood today. I will make an exception and allow you to teach me a Buddhist scripture. Ye Bai smiled and shook his head, took out another 5 bottles of the source of life. This version of the source of life, I named it physiological saline. It is a little salty. It can save lives and replenish sodium at the same time. It kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Xuemeng looked at the 5 100 ml bottles of the source of life and scratched his head for a moment. He wants to buy it, but he has no money. Ye Bai rolled his eyes. Still according to the previous rules. If I remember correctly, there should be quite a few people who were not allocated the source of life in that plan. Xuemeng nodded. Yes, there are more than 10 million people queuing up. The source of life that Ye Bai took out was nothing compared to the huge population base of the human race. 500 ml, 10,000 drops of the source of life. If it is used to treat the king of war, it can only treat 100 people at most. Moreover, there are many war kings who require more than 100 drops of the source of life due to serious injuries. Ye Bai gave Xuemeng the bottle and ordered at the same time. From now on, 500 ml of the source of life will be delivered every day, and I will ask Gu Jin to deliver it to you. If we can't contact you, we will transfer it to Wanwu Pavilion. Xuemeng nodded repeatedly, no problem. At the price that the 2 people had discussed before, this batch of source of life was basically sold at a cabbage price. Arhat clasped his hands together and sighed. Cultivation of donors is a great kindness. Okay, stop flattering me. Ye Bai waved his hand and laughed at himself. Just be generous to others. As he spoke, Ye Bai pointed to the lecture hall inside. Master, I will often come here to borrow fire from now on. The kid inside will probably make a few exceptions. Sorry for bothering you. Arhat shook his head, don't bother. Ye Bai did not continue to be polite, and after making an agreement with Luhan, he started to borrow heat. Can Shura's matter be called stealing? This time, Ye Bai was sure that Arhat did not have endless karmic fire and would not give him the entire debuff again. After borrowing fire 642 times and spending 0 gold coins, Ye Bai finally succeeded in borrowing fire. Stealing fire successfully. Acquire the fire attribute State Lotus Fire of Wisdom. The next enlightenment skill will not consume you. The enlightenment skill has fire attributes. Duration, 300 days. Fire Stealer takes effect, intelligence attribute add 40,000. Looking at the new pop-up prompt, Ye Bai had a feeling in his heart. Cool. I didn't spend a penny, I stole Lotus Fire of Wisdom, and I can still improve my attributes. This deal is so worth it. Of course, this bug also has a limitation. The greater the strength gap between the 2 sides, the more attributes Ye Bai gains. But Ye Bai's strength will become stronger at a terrifying speed, and the gap between the 2 will become smaller and smaller. In other words, the further back the sheep goes, the less wool it has. The last time he succeeded in borrowing fire, Ye Bai gained 50,000 physical attributes. This time there were only 40,000, but fortunately the intelligence attribute made Ye Bai, the mage, even more powerful. Arhat saluted Ye Bai and said sincerely. Congratulations to the donor. Same joy, same joy. Yabai looked at the master and hesitated to speak. Arhat was a little confused. Does the donor have something on his mind? Yabai nodded. I hope master can exercise and become stronger and stronger. The stronger the Arhat is, the more attributes Yabai will gain. After listening to Shura's words, Arhat shook his head and smiled helplessly. He is now level 989, and anyone above level 990 will have to enter the Eternal Temple. In other words, Arhat is already the strongest in the Eternal Core City. No matter how strong it is, there is no way to stay in the Eternal Core City. After bowing to Shura and Xuemeng, Arhat returned to the lecture hall and began to lecture Huo Tianyi. Yabai pulled Xuemeng and did not leave immediately, but moved to the corner. Listen, how does Huo Tianyi, a scumbag, attend class? Just listen to the old monk speak slowly. Donor Huo, if my Buddha has a message, I will put down my butcher knife and become a Buddha immediately. Huo Tian was delighted. Young master doesn't need a knife, you can talk to Yingju about this. The young monk doesn't dare. Are you saying that I am not as good as Yingju? The young monk doesn't dare. That's pretty much it. Let's continue talking about the knife. Yabai nodded happily. Huo Tianyi did not disappoint him. Huo Tian understood this aspect of bad mouth. Let him go and spend time with the old monk, and everyone will not suffer. Furthermore, Huo Tianyi and old Huo Tianwang are two people after all. The murderous aura and evil spirit in Huo Tianyi were greatly influenced by the old king Huo Tianyi. Listening to Buddhist scriptures also helped his state of mind. After successfully borrowing the fire, he gave the source of life to Xuemeng. Yabai had nothing else to do. Usually, he would go to the wolf's den to have something to eat and drink. Today is different. Today was Shura's treat, so Yabai decided to be kind. A white light flashed, and Yabai's figure disappeared from the place and returned to Blue Star. Area C of the special training camp. The moment Yabai appeared, Ying-san also came back. Good morning, fourth master. Good morning, third master. After saying hello, Yabai thought for a while and asked. Third master, Ying-I said today that she can kill the devil. Is it true? Ying-san nodded. Yes. Yabai asked further. Where's the great demon god? Ying-san was silent for a moment and gave the answer. Perish together. Hiss. Can a weak woman be so fierce? Yabai muttered. Could this guy be a tower spirit? Ying-san said helplessly. Fourth master, we have an agreement that we cannot disclose each other's identities to the outside world. We, of course, refer to the first 3 and 4 shadows. Very good, you are an honest person who abides by your agreement. Yabai nodded slowly. But what is our relationship? I call you third master, and you call me fourth master. We are half-brothers. Yabai said confidently. Tell me, what does it mean to be external? Ying-san was stunned for a moment. What fourth master said made sense. According to this logic, the top 3 shadows can betray each other and tell Yabai the identities of the other shadows. In other words, Ying-san's true identity is at risk of being exposed. We need to find a way to plug this loophole. Third master. Seeing Ying-san fall into silence, Yabai asked curiously. What are you thinking about? Nothing. Ying-san answered truthfully. I'm thinking, should I silence the eldest sister, the second brother, and the second sister together? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 429. It doesn't have to be so cruel, right? Listening to Ying-san's true words, Yabai felt that the atmosphere in Ying-san was a little too harmonious. We love each other and we are a family, sincere and I will not deceive. Third Master Ying has always been a ruthless person and doesn't talk much. Since he has this idea, it means that he has this ability. Ye Bai quickly changed the topic. Third Master, I helped you think of a screen name within the shadow. Ying-san is also very wise. What do you need me to do? During this period of following Shura, Ying-san has never met him. Who can prostitute Shura for nothing? Perhaps, only beings like Ji and Xiaoao can do it. It was too far away from Ying-san, and he didn't dare to think about it. Regarding how strong the most powerful person is. Only when the strength is closer to the strongest, the awe in the heart will be deeper. When people on Blue Star look at the sun, they only feel that the sun is very warm. If the gap in strength is too far, the ignorant will be fearless. Ying-san wants a name, even an online name. As a price, he must do something for Shura. Ye Bai muttered. This time I'm going to the ninth abyss. Third Master, do you have any other tasks? Have. Ying-san nodded. In the past, I was responsible for exploring the information about the abyss, making sure everything was safe, and then taking action. This time is different. I need to monitor a few dishonest guys. Ye Bai nodded slightly. This action was indeed hasty. As the top combat force of the human camp, Shadow 3 is in a very important position in the deterrence game with the demon god and cannot act rashly. If Ye Bai organized his language. If my life is not in danger, I want to kill a being below level 1000. Can you take action? Huo Tianyi, Zhao Qian, Lan Lao, Ying Shizan. Ying-san announced a series of names and said sincerely. I can't take action against these people. Ye Bai. I will never let you kill these people. Obviously, in Ying-san's view, the people on this list are all protected by big shots. If we attack them, even Shura will not be able to save Ying-san. Ye Bai keenly noticed a detail. Why didn't you talk about Shui Meng, and Father Lan and Band Immortal Lan? Ying-san is very honest. Shui Meng, I can't kill you. Lan Bangxian has always been by the side of the strongest, and... At the end of the sentence, Ying-san shook his head. He wasn't sure he could kill Lan Bangxian. Lan Bangxian is very proud, very proud. The key is... Lan Bangxian has a sword that he has kept for decades and has never used. Ying-san felt that Lan Bangxian's sword would definitely strike at the most powerful being, and he would not waste it on himself. That's it? Ye Bai nodded, it was reasonable. The two sides quickly reached a deal. Ying-san helped Ye Bai make a move, and Ye Bai gave Ying-san a screen name. Kill the demon first, pay later. The clock on the wall was ticking slowly, and the time soon came to 10 minutes past 6. The wolf's den is finally closed. Ye Bai breathed a sigh of relief. Soon, looking at the bill sent by Gujian, Ye Bai became angry. The expenses at the wolf's lair for a half-night party were extraordinarily astonishing. For a treat tonight, the total expenses are as follows. 15.67 tons of fish, 34.5 tons of wine, 2.8 tons of mushrooms. Ye Bai has been frugal these days, and the meager wealth he has saved is almost gone. Seeing the end of the list, Ye Bai was so angry that he almost burst into smoke. Why are there even 562 ovens missing? How immoral, eating grilled fish and even taking away the oven. Why are these people so unqualified? They even eat and drink. Ye Bai was indignant. This evil trend should have been controlled long ago. Just at this moment, a familiar knock on the door sounded. Brother Bai, Brother Bai. Ye Bai, still angry, opened the door, and in front of him was Feng Dong with a tummy. Feng Dong was so excited that when he opened his mouth, he smelled of grilled fish. Brother Bai, the wolf's den was free last night. Shura treated us to a treat. It was so delicious. Feng Dong looked at Ye Bai, who was a little silent today, and immediately noticed something was wrong. Hey, brother Bai, you seem to be in a bad mood. Did you miss it? That's right. Ye Bai nodded and told the truth. I went to play last night and made some French fries to eat. Then you're in for a treat. Feng Dong showed a mysterious smile on his face and pulled Ye Bai out. Ye Bai was a little curious. Where are you going? Go to the hospital and see Zhao Lin. Ye Bai took the time to see Zhao Lin several times in the past 2 days. He was lying in the nutrition warehouse, motionless. Thanks to Huo Tianyi, Zhao Lin's talent was upgraded to soul out of body. The time when the soul leaves the body for the first time, the stronger Zhao Lin's future potential will be. However, things must be reversed. If the soul leaves the body for a long time, even if modern technology can ensure the integrity of the body, Zhao Lin will have to face a lot of trouble if he wants to adapt to his body again. Coming back now is almost the best time. However, Zhao Lin showed no signs of waking up. On the way to the hospital, Feng Dong gave it a try. Fight thought of a way and said it should be able to wake up Zhao Lin. Oh! Ye Bai became even more curious. Following Feng Dong, Ye Bai came to Zhao Lin's ward. When I opened the door, the aroma of grilled fish hit me. It smells so good. Ye Bai smelled the smell and felt it was somewhat familiar. Ye Bai, are you here too? In the ward, in addition to Zhao Lin and Feet, there was an uninvited guest, the powerful 9th-level war god Su Qingfeng. Second uncle, Ye Bai, sit down. There are 2 round barbecue ovens placed beside Zhao Lin's bed. Su Qingfeng invited the 2 of them to sit next to the oven and introduced. This oven is very precious. It is made of B-grade ore from the mysterious mine. Ye Bai. I just said, this oven looks more and more familiar. It turns out to be my oven. I have recorded this account. Feng Dong was still a little hesitant. Nephew, bring Shura's oven over, are you okay? He had seen people packing away the meal after finishing the meal, but he had never seen anyone packing away the oven as well. Unacceptable. It's okay. If you don't tell me, no one will know that I took it. Su Qingfeng patted his chest and promised. With the speed of a 9th-level wind god of war, even the surveillance cameras couldn't detect him with 2 ovens. Hello, old Su. Ye Bai calmed down and did not have an attack on the spot. Keep accounting. Then. Su Qingfeng took out a huge king crab and 10 large lobsters from the storage space. A large pile of seafood from a certain ice field appeared in front of everyone. Hiss. Feng Dong and his friends were shocked. Nephew, where did you get so many good things? Why are the things here so similar to the recipe from the wolf's den last night? Where did you think I was last night? Halfway through his words, Su Qingfeng quickly stopped. The fewer people who know about the dark history of the 9th-level war god helping to cut sashimi, the better. Eat you, why do you talk so much? Su Qingfeng started grilling crabs and lobsters while comforting himself. I was busy most of the night, so I packed up some leftover scraps. Is it reasonable? Whole king crab, giant lobster, top quality tuna. You call these scraps? Ye Bai nodded. Reasonable, too reasonable. I hope that when I pick your wool, it will be so reasonable. Su Qingfeng said firmly. Besides, if you don't eat these things, won't they be wasted? Even so, it still failed to dispel the concerns of Ye Bai and others. Ye Bai asked tentatively. Senior Su, won't you make Shura angry by taking Shura's things like this? That's for sure, yes. Su Qingfeng smiled heartily and said. So, let's keep our mouths shut, and no one should make it public, otherwise Shura won't know. Shura is so busy every day that he won't remember these little things. Everyone nodded, saying that they would never tell others. Feng Dong was suddenly curious about another thing. Nephew, What will happen if Shura comes to settle a score with you? This is easy to handle. Su Qingfeng broke off a large tong, took out the crab meat inside, and handed it to Ye Bai. He is very optimistic about this junior. Sunny, upright, principled. Is a good person. Su Qingfeng blinked and whispered. Xuemeng got more. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 430. Xuemeng, a man with thick eyebrows and big eyes, actually took it too. Ye Bai twitched the corners of his mouth, revealing a kind smile. Lao Su really gave himself a big gift. The seafood on the oven was sizzling with oil, and Su Qingfeng skillfully sprinkled it with various seasonings. Oil, minced garlic, green onions. Su Qingfeng couldn't help but sigh. If there were no abyss, I would be a barbecue chef, selling barbecue on the beach, blowing the sea breeze, looking at the girls in bikinis, and the sun shining on my body. Sounds like pretty good. Nephew. Feng Dong held the king crab and corrected him seriously. If there was no abyss, you would be over 70 years old now, let alone sell barbecue, and it would be difficult to wear dentures. Look what you said. Su Qingfeng smiled and said nothing more. After all, he is his second uncle. Generally speaking, you don't need to drink alcohol when eating seafood. Su Qingfeng took out a new bottle of good wine. But I'm the god of war, so I'll be fine if I drink. Su Qingfeng poured himself half a glass of wine and put the bottle away. You will have class soon, so don't drink. This wine, needless to say, it was also taken from the wolf's den. Su Qingfeng didn't need to remind him this time, Ye Bai took the initiative to help him at it. We will keep it secret, absolutely secret. Get on the road. Su Qingfeng gave Ye Bai a thumbs up. Several people were having a seafood barbecue in the ward, and the grandpa next door was so greedy that he cried. Su Qingfeng was not idle either and told Ye Bai. You are going to participate in a combat level competition. Don't forget to prepare well. Ye Bai's face showed a look of embarrassment. To be honest, based on my understanding of shadows, it might be a bit difficult for me to win. Under the arrangement of Shura, a large number of shadows of war kings and warrior generals, former genius boys/girls, voluntarily lowered their levels to level 199 to participate in battles at the warrior class. The minimum threshold for the Nightmare Legion is to be a general. Moreover, they are a group of living people, different from shadows. If Shadow wants to be demoted, he only needs to change his ranking. If a living person wants to be demoted, he will have to be like Xuemeng and be stabbed a few times by Master Zhu. He was accidentally hacked to death and was transformed into a shadow on the spot. In other words, all the warrior level players in the Nightmare Legion are foreign aides like Ye Bai. It doesn't matter. Our Nightmare Legion doesn't care about the outcome of the battle. Su Qingfeng lowered his voice and said. We received inside information that Shura will fight for Shadow. His. Ye Bai asked in surprise. Real or fake? The ghost is actually next to me. This also needs to be kept secret. Su Qingfeng waved his hand, indicating that this topic should not continue. Also, as for the victory or defeat of the war soldiers, since they are all supported by foreign aid, our legion has discussed it. If anyone can defend the ring successfully, the share one will belong to the ring leader. What? The king crab claws in Ye Bai's hand were broken, and everyone looked at him. Is there a problem? Su Qingfeng was a little curious as to why Ye Bai was so excited. There are 6 arenas in total, the main arena is 10%, and the 5 secondary arenas are each 2%. And it's only 1 year's money. Besides, Xuemeng now doesn't owe money. It's not bad, so there is no profit. Regarding Xuemeng's financial situation, Su Qingfeng did not explain in depth. Everyone who understands understands. 1 year, Xuemeng earns 2% of his income. Of course the Nightmare Legion knows that this is not a small sum of money. The problem is, according to the intelligence they received, Shadow will send a group of level 199 strong men, and the Nightmare Legion's winning rate is almost zero. They don't care about the victory or defeat of the warrior class. The Nightmare Legion has no soldiers at all, so even if they lose, there will be no shame. Ye Bai's breath tightened, as if he saw 2% of the wool waving to him. He asked casually. Speaking of which, how many arenas can one person compete in? Feng Dong introduced. Hit whatever you want. Hiss. 2% for 1, 5 for 10%. It's 1% more than the share that second brother Wuhan got. Moreover, this money will be divided among Ye Bai's heads. Ye Bai pondered for a moment and asked a crucial question. Pay taxes? Su Qingfeng was stunned. They really hadn't thought about this problem. At this moment, Zhaolin, who had been lying in the nutrition cabin, sat up in a daze, his nose twitching. Time to eat. He woke up. You're awake. Ye Bai came up to him and said seriously. The operation was a success. Zhaolin. The news that Zhaolin woke up quickly spread throughout Area C. Certainly. The version released to the public is that Zhaolin and Huo Tian had a discussion and were severely concussed and just woke up. Very few people know about the advancement of his talent. The fact that Huo Tianyi specifically hit people on the back of the head also spread. Regarding the question of whether to pay taxes on income, Su Qingfeng said that he would give Ye Bai a reply later. However, Su Qingfeng didn't take it to heart. In his opinion, Ye Bai just asked casually. If you really want to defend the ring, you are definitely a genius among geniuses. If Shadow didn't cheat, then Ye Bai still had hope. The Shadow card bug is the same, allowing stronger people to compete in low-level competitions. Ye Bai's chance of winning is almost zero. After Zhaolin wakes up, he still needs to undergo a series of examinations and rehabilitation training. Ye Bai returned to the classroom first and continued the class. Before he sat down, the small black box in his pocket vibrated. The guy who blew himself up, Death Song, are you there? Death Song, here, I just finished my mission. The guy who blew himself up said, I met the mysterious senior brother last night. The senior brother doesn't talk much, but he is very strong. Ye Bai. He couldn't accept this. That senior brother of yours cannot be summed up by the word very strong. The guy who blew himself up then sent a series of messages. Yesterday, Mr. Ying and I had a great time drinking and chatting happily. They solved a lot of my doubts. It's a pity that I didn't find Shura. I have a disciple who wants to compete with Shura. You young people are always motivated, which is a good thing. My disciple is greedy and ate a lot of Shura's food. He found it extremely delicious, but I thought it was average. The young man who blew himself up looked like an old man when he opened his mouth, and a disciple when he shut up. Ye Bai really wanted to ask her. Is the disciple you are talking about yourself? Finally, the young man who blew himself up told Ye Bai that before his disciple left, he packed up some food based on the principle of not wasting it. I can't finish it if I keep it for myself, so I'll share it with Death Song. After saying that, not wanting to refuse, the guy who blew himself up sent an email. Ye Bai looked at the hundreds of kilograms of food that appeared in the small black box and fell into deep thought. You call this a bid pact? What is it today? Everyone who finished harvesting the Shura wool took the initiative to share the results with Ye Bai, showing off that they had finally gathered the Shura wool. How unreasonable! Along with the food, there is also a life note. It is said that the disciples of the self-destructive boy took notes when the self-destructive boy communicated with Ying Er. They are very valuable. Ye Bai opened the note casually, and a line of words came into view. The first rule of life, don't be too shady.